Hello and welcome to your final weekly tarot forecast for the year of 2019. So as we go into this next year, bridging the gap between this decade and the next, I have a few offers that I want to talk to you about before we get into the card. So if you haven't head over to michelleshewalker.com, I highly recommend it. I do the website myself. I'm very proud of it. I try to keep it as clean and simple and concise as possible for you to be able to find what you're looking for. But there are so many different things that I've been adding to that site, especially over the past several months. There are new meditations, there are new programs, you can do Reiki trainings, you can do in-person readings, you can do Skype readings, and of course there's access to my Patreon where I give away my tarot scopes every month, extra meditations, podcast episodes, and I would want you to miss out on those things. So head on over to michelleshewalker.com whenever you get a chance. And before you get there, I'll give you a little preview of two offerings that are particularly relevant for this transition into the new year. So the first one is in my email via tarot offering. So email via tarot, no, Tarot via email is an offering that I offer as sort of a lower price point option for people that want to get some insight from the cards but can't necessarily invest in the in-person or Skype readings right now. And it's a great way to get some quick and easy clarity on questions that you might have. But one of the spreads that I have available there is called the annual spread. And the annual spread is particularly relevant this time of year. It's also relevant around birthday times because it is a year-long look at your life via the cards. So there are 13 cards in an annual spread. The first 12 are laying out the 12 months of the year. And then the last one is the theme for the year. So the beautiful thing about this type of spread is that it gives you not only clarity about what you're focusing on as the month is coming up, but also it gives you sort of a refresher of the lessons that you learned after the month is over. So I've done one of these spreads every year for the past 4 to 5 years. And it never ceases to bring me more clarity whenever I look back on the months and remember what happened and look at the card and the lessons that that card had and really integrate a little bit more of the information that I was supposed to be getting from the occurrences during that month. So it looks something similar to this. These are my card backs for my own personal annual spread, which I'm getting ready to reveal to myself after this video. And it's, like I said, just quick little snippets, quick little ideas of what it is that you're going to expect, and also refreshers for what your lessons were after you've come out that month. You can pick your card deck. So my cards here are the Holly Simple Tarot. It's my personal sort of vibe for the year, so I wanted to kind of pick that. But the card that we're using today for our tarot forecast reading is the Wild Unknown, which is a little more grounded energy. And all of that's described on the offering. You know what kind of energy the deck is. You can also have me intuitively pick a deck for you. And it's just a great way to find more clarity on what you're focusing on in 2020. And the other offering that I have, which is kind of a dual offering, is the Rainbow Brightening 21-Day Chakra Cleanse. So if you follow me on Instagram and you watch my stories, you're probably a little privy to this offering because it is one that I've been promoting in my stories and I'm super excited about, frankly. So basically, Rainbow Brightening is a program that I have developed personally from my experiences becoming a Reiki healer. So when I went through Reiki level 1, I was able to go through the process of what every Reiki healer goes through, which is a 21-day chakra cleanse. So it just kind of comes in tandem with becoming a healer that you go through this cleanse, and the Reiki energy spends 3 days in each chakra, just clearing out and turning over any past trauma, any past blockages that might be holding you back from your best self. And I always say that I almost want everyone in the world to become a Reiki level 1 healer just to be able to go through that cleanse because it was life-changing for me. I went from being an early 30-something that thought she had her life together, thought that she was fully confident, but had these secret insecure thoughts in the back of my brain to someone that actually is confident and secure and sure of myself, and all of those insecurities just kind of like trickled their way out throughout that 21-day cleanse, and it was an amazing process. I will plan on doing another video sometime soon to talk about that whole experience. But I think of my life now as before Reiki and after Reiki. And I don't know if I would be capable of doing the things that I'm doing if it wasn't for that 21-day chakra clean out. And I liked it so much that I've done it twice. I decided to do it a second time. I triggered it myself. And that is where I got the idea to offer it up for non-healers. So what I've done is I've re-engineered the energy work that happens during a Reiki level 1 attunement or training. And I've made it into something that's accessible for people that don't necessarily want to be healers. They don't want to be triggered into that healer space, but they still want to be able to clear out their energy and their blockages. It's a great time to do it this time of year as you're trying to clear out all the old bad habits. And it's a really great time to be able to reflect on what you're cleansing too. So again, I think the transition into the new year is the perfect time for that. Not only are you wanting to start new patterns, but you're also kind of looking back on the past year and appreciating what it was and letting go of anything that doesn't serve you. And that's exactly energetically what this cleanse is doing. So if you're interested in the rainbow brightening, it is super on sale for pre-orders. So I'm starting the first round of this on 1/11 at 1:11 Pacific Standard Time. And that's when I'm gonna be sitting down in my meditation and going through the list of people that have signed up and sending them the distance energy that's gonna trigger this cleanse. And you can choose to be in a state to receive during that time period, or you can choose to just go about your day and know that your cleanse is starting. And then I'm also including in this package some PDF files, some infographics, some additional information to be able to help you understand the chakras. So if chakras are something that you have no reference for, I'll give you little tiny snippets of information so that it's not overwhelming, but that you can kind of understand what's happening during each stage of your cleanse. Because again, it's 3 days in each of the 7 chakras. That's why it's a 21-day cleanse. So it starts at your root chakra, goes to your crown chakra. If that doesn't mean anything to you, I have resources to help you to at least sort of understand that and ways to kind of help the energy balance out those chakras during those 3 days of that particular area's cleanse. I'm also offering as a bonus for this first round of signups, these pre-orders, access to some chakra balancing yoga sequences. So you'll get exclusive access to those. You will also get access to something else that I'm deeply excited about, which is the Rainbow Brightening meditation album. And these meditations have now been set to beautiful music that has been intuitively composed by a fellow Reiki healer. If you're familiar with Vegan Superpowers podcast, you can find him on Instagram. He is starting his journey into audio engineering and music production, and so he was kind enough to be able to create these amazingly aligning with the chakras music backgrounds for these meditations. So I highly believe that everyone should sign up for this cleanse. But if you don't sign up for the cleanse, if it's just not in the cards for you now, you can also buy the meditation album so that you, at the very least, you can start your own little cleanse by meditating on each chakra, maybe for 3 days at a time. Maybe you kind of sort of join us on the cleanse through your meditation, but it's available on my website as well. So I cannot stress enough how excited I am about this. If you want to join a part of this Rainbow Brightening community, head over to michelleshewalker.com/shop where you can find all the things that I offer. And it's pretty hard to miss the Rainbow Brightening cleanse and meditation album. It's a really beautiful, colorful image. And if you have any questions about that, message me because I would love to answer all of your questions. But essentially, it's just really powerful Reiki energy that's spending 21 days in your system, clearing you out and clearing out anything that doesn't serve you anymore. So with all of that put behind us, we will dive into today's card. So the card that I pulled today is from the Wild Unknown. I felt like we could maybe use a little bit of grounding, a little bit of nature support, which is what I think the Wild Unknown tarot deck is really good for. And the card is the Daughter of Wands. So the Daughter of Wands is a card about spiritual awakening and creative inspiration. So the Daughter of Wands is really calling out for us to embrace a little more of a free spirit as we move into the new year. And as we let go of the past year, I feel like sometimes this time of year we can get a little heavy, a little hard on ourselves. And the Daughter of Wands is just saying, sort of that hippy dippy free spirit vibe of, everything's just groovy, man. And the more that you can appreciate the vibe and the more that you can kind of go with the flow, the more that you will find that the beginning of the year starts out really magical. And I checked the underneath deck card, which always means that it's whatever's hidden underneath this topic and a little additional information that we might want to know. And it is the Hermit card. So this basically means that even though this time of year might have a lot of opportunities for being social, being at parties, going out, celebrating, there's definitely sort of a need for a little bit of alone time and a little bit of self-reflection and spiritual contemplation. So maybe that comes from the journal entries that you write at the end of the day after every one of your days of your 21-day cleanse. But because this is focusing on this week before the cleanse starts, it's also just being able to give yourself that time to make that transition into the new year. And I encourage you, I'm a big fan of journaling. I know some people aren't, but I believe that everyone can benefit from putting pen to paper every now and then. So if you want to sit down before the new year and write out all the things that you're grateful for that happened over the past 12 months and all of the things that you want to, I don't want to say change, because I feel like there's so many buzzwords around this time of year where we're trying to just overhaul our life and change everything. But the lessons that you learned that you're going to take into this new year to be able to do things in a more efficient and aligned manner. And I'm going to pull something from my dear friend, Kate Rizzo, who is Yogi Cake, if you follow her on Instagram. And she recently did a post about your core values, I believe is the term that she used, in that if you can take a list of values and narrow it down to your top 3, then those can help you to dictate your decisions and your actions throughout the upcoming year. So let's say that your values are fun, support, and alignment. Then anytime that you are faced with a decision, you have to ask yourself if they align with at least 2 of those 3 core values. And I think that's a really great way to kind of go into your decision making for the new year. But you have to be able to define those things for yourself and be unapologetic about it, because it's your life, it's no one else's life. So make it your values, not the values that have been projected upon you by society or your family or your friends. And that's kind of what the Daughter of Wands is about. It's about discovering your own intuitive path, discovering your own intuition, and being able to follow it unapologetically and trust that that little voice within you is going to know way more than anyone in your life that could be trying to advise you or direct your path in another direction. And the Daughter of Wands doesn't have to be perfect at this. The Daughter of Wands is being sort of a beginner in the area of the spiritual realms, and that's okay. And if you're working on becoming more acclimated to your own spirituality, I do have a podcast that's coming out. I'm hoping that it'll be released early this week, called Please Don't Eat the Sage. So you can look for that soon on iTunes and hopefully Spotify, and definitely on my website. And it's basically a demystifying guide to mysticism. And so anything that you have been sort of curious about in the worlds of New Age spirituality, but you feel like you don't have the rule book for, I can kind of break that down, give you some of the rules, but then tell you that it's okay to break them. So lots of exciting things coming up in the new year. I hope that you will join me for some of them, and at the very least continue to follow these weekly tarot forecasts on Instagram, and they're also being posted on my YouTube. So if you're a YouTube person, /Michelle Shea Walker is where you're going to find me over there. And on Instagram, if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll find me at Michelle Shea. And as always, support is always welcome and valued. So if you want to support this, even just $1 a month over on patreon.com/Michelle Shea is super helpful. And if you sign up before the 1st of January, you'll have access to my January 1st tarot scopes, which are zodiac readings for every sign, tarot readings for every sign of the zodiac. So I'm wishing you a wonderful and insightful end to 2019 and a beautiful and fresh start in 2020.